Today, I'm going to talk about narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, written by Frederick Douglass himself in 1845. Frederick Douglass was a former slave who became a well-known abolitionist. He wrote this narrative to show people what slavery was really like, especially those who had never seen it themselves. In this text, Douglass exposes the extreme brutality of slavery and explains how it affects enslaved people both physically and mentally. His narrative helped change how many Americans view slavery, especially abolitionists and people in the North. One of the most powerful parts of Douglas' narrative is how directly he describes the physical violence of slavery. When he talks about being wiped by Mr. Kobe and says his back was cut bleeding, he's not exaggerating or trying to shock people. He's just telling the truth about what enslaved people went through. These details help readers understand that slavery was extremely violent and cruel, not something mild or controlled like some slaveholders claim. Douglas also makes it clear that slavery didn't only hurt people physically, but mentally as well. When he says, I was broken in body, soul, and spirit, he is explaining how slavery destroyed his confidence, motivation, and sense of identity. This part of the narrative helped readers realize that slavery wasn't just about forced labor. It was about breaking people down and taking away their humanity. A major turning point in the narrative happens when Douglas finally fights back against Mr. Colby. This moment, this moment is important because it represents resistance. Douglas explains that standing up for himself changed how he saw himself and gave him back his sense of manhood. This scene showed readers that enslaved people were not naturally weak or passive, and that slavery only worked through violence and fear. The impact of Douglas' narrative did not affect everyone in society the same way. It didn't convince slaveholders to change their minds, but it had a strong impact on abolitionists and people in the North who had never seen slavery firsthand. By sharing his personal experience, Douglas helped educate the public and strengthen the anti-slavery movement. His narrative became an important piece reading that pushed society closer towards ending slavery.